For those of you guys looking to get into content without skills, you're doing yourself a huge disservice. You're thinking, how can I get people to see me as the guy? You ain't the guy, cuz. I hate to break it to you. And we are back, baby. Back at it again with another coffee talk. I had a question inside Crusadia, and I was asked basically what I thought about when it comes to content, when to make content. What if I don't have a lot of skills? What if I'm someone that doesn't really know much, but I've heard content's this great opportunity and something I should be doing? Well, it's nuanced per usual, but Uncle Rommy's here to break it down. But first order of business, cup of coffee. Coffee talk. I feel bad for the other channel, honestly. You know, they're like, we're the coffee talks, bro. Understand something? The game that I'm playing with content is very, very different from most of these jabronis, but it didn't start off that way. It's just, you know, the more you're involved in the game, the more you have a clear outlook on this stuff. And because I did it in a way where I didn't grow up with any technology. I remember when I was like in 8th grade, I got my first phone. The only reason I was allowed to have a phone was because I was playing a lot of basketball and traveling, and it used to be that slide up, you know what I mean? That, remember the keyboard? This is for the old G's right here. The slide up happens and you throw out the text, slide it back, throw it back in the pocket. Dude, it's so clean. But before we get into story time, and I'm gonna answer your question as to, I wanna make content. How do I make content in a way that's actually compelling? When should I do it? What if I don't have enough skills? Basically getting started, when to know the opportunity is yours. But like I said, first order of business, first sip of the day. Oh, it's fantastic. I've been pushing out my coffees to actually beyond noon. Not for any other reason. I just really like that sip. Dude, come on. It's dangling. I'm just dangling in the morning a little bit, you know? That's fantastic. But the only way I can answer your question is by explaining it to you through and through. So you're not gonna have any questions after this video as to what you think you should be doing. Matter of fact, you'll probably come out with a shit ton of clarity. And I do that because I don't always tell people what to think. I just ask questions that arrive at their inevitable conclusions. And it's exactly how I'm gonna do with you. And I'm gonna explain to you how I got onto making content myself. Like I said, we're talking about the texting phone, but my point in bringing that up, aside from telling you that I am an old man, and I really am unk. You know, I've been unk since I was 16 years old. I've been unk. You think this swagger just happens? No, dog. I'm a seasoned vet in this game. But I didn't grow up with social media at all. I remember when I was in even grade school, Facebook just came out, and then there was MySpace and stuff, and everyone had it aside from me. I was the anti-social media guy. I would take pride in the fact that everyone around me had social media. I'm like, I don't do that. I'm too cool for that shit. And I realized that's actually one of the skills that I have is when everybody yings, I naturally yang. It's not just to be different. I just don't like traffic. I don't like traffic on the road. I don't like being around a bunch of people in like a small spot. I don't like that. I don't like it at all. So it's just naturally how I think. But when I arrived at posting content, for those of you guys that know about me but maybe haven't gone through every single piece of content that I have, you know, I posted content because to me, I was forced into rock bottom. And I hate when people say, I just work that way people make sense of it, okay? Point is when I had no options, $0 financially, you have to be so real about who you are, what your skills are, what your weaknesses are. There's no pretending. This is what I want people to see me as. That all that shit flies to the wayside. And I was able to post content because I knew how much I knew about fitness. I've been doing it for over 10 years at the time. Everyone was always asking me questions about it at the gym. I would mind my own business and everyone would always come up and just ask me questions. How you doing this? How you doing that? What about this? Oh, that looks interesting. Oh, dude, you've gotten in great shape. How have you? It's like I was always in great shape, but it's hard to explain. People could just tell I knew what I was doing inside the gym. And then my approach was just refreshing to people, I think. And keep in mind, this is back in the day, you know, back in the day, people were just slinging barbells and stuff. Now you have every piece of information and there's always a right way of doing things, which is just ridiculous. But I say this to tell you is I was doing this thing for 11 years. I got into the best shape, the shape that I've always wanted to be in my life. So I had 7 years of failure of just running into walls, constantly going and cycling between every single body type, like fat, chunky, skinny fat even for a little bit, pudgy, strong, but doesn't look like he's actually strong. All of it, man. And so I know what it was like to go through all of these unique paths, man. 7 years is a long time. I just kept hitting my head against this wall. I'm like, this has to work. I will die trying. And once I just finally broke through, then it was just like, oh, everything started to make sense. You know, even because of injuries and just in general, like hitting the elevator down button on stuff, getting frustrated, self-sabotage on my stuff, what deters me, money, all of it, handling discouragement. I knew all of these unique paths that genuinely lifters go through. And I was able to articulate it in a way that most lifters just aren't capable of. Most guys typically are meatheads or just science nerds. They don't know how to actually communicate like human beings. They do lack a bit of charisma. People that are in great shape, or like that's like the fitness guys that are just like, I'm all about fitness, typically do lack a little bit of charisma for the most part. I'm not even talking about, you know, the science-based guys, but like even the meathead guys, you know, like they're quiet, like, oh, fuck yeah, you know, like, you know what I mean? That's not charismatic. Let's just call that what it is. So I knew I'd bring a different air to it. And I've always known that for a while, but it was just tough. I mean, I'm not a cringe guy. I told you, I was the anti-social media guy. Point of me saying this, I started posting content at 2023, coming up on 2 years actually, or I'm actually at 2 years. This is for shorts, not for YouTube. YouTube was a year later. Yeah, 2023, so 2 years ago, I was 27. Started posting content at basically 27 years of age. But the difference is I lived all of my life in the real world. And so by the time the camera came up, the only thing I was worried about was everyone else looking at me like, he's really recording himself talking to a camera. It wasn't like, what am I gonna talk about? People won't trust me, or I don't really know what I'm talking about. Imposter syndrome, all that. By the way, just want to make it clear with the business channel, do you notice how your boy's coming in with the nice shirts? You gotta keep it class. You're talking business, put on a freaking button up. You know what I'm saying? Put on a button up, take your shit serious, lock it the fuck in. You know what I'm saying? Come on now, boy. Yeah. Another cup of coffee? Don't mind if I do. But my point in taking you through all of this is by the time I actually was just willing to do it from a confidence perspective, like I wasn't worried about what other people thought of me. I'm talking about something that I know so intimately because it was such a big part of my life that I was able to grow my page so much quicker than everybody else. People that were in the space from 10 years prior, I was lapping. That's just because it's just brutal competence. This guy knows what he's talking about. He knows how to poke at people. He knows not how to take himself so seriously. That's why I used to have like this POV video, and I would honestly do it because it was kind of like these exercises are actually great. Every single one of them that I do, but I'd purposely throw in a word to just kind of like mess with people. And the reason I was able to do that is because if anyone ever barked back, I always had answers for everything because everything that I put out, I genuinely do because that's just my job. I did all the hard work in real life. My job is just to put up the camera to then explain those things and just to show it and explain it in a way that no one else really explains it, because it's my own unique life path when it comes to fitness. So to answer your question, the reason why I say all of this, it's really important for you to understand, like those of you guys that are trying to make content in a way without skills, you're doing yourself a huge disservice because you're not coming into it with the right state of mind. You're thinking, how can I get people to see me as the guy? You ain't the guy, cuz. I hate to break it to you. You ain't that guy. You're not that guy, pal. Trust me. You're not that guy. But if you look at content as genuinely something where it's like, I want to see my growth as a person. If I'm coming from a place, keep in mind, a person that doesn't really have any real skill in terms of something I could genuinely offer and really reign king in this market, in this piece of content, in this algorithm, however you want to word it. Your job is just to put up the camera just to show what you're doing. So that way, by the time it does click, you have a story to show your kids. But keep in mind, the side effect of that is other people that by the time, let's say you have content and you have something to genuinely offer to the world, like a real value, you know, like something that in their heads, like this guy will help me get into shape, this guy will help me make more money, this guy will help me teach me how to build a digital country from scratch. This is how we make everyone's dreams into a reality, right? All of these things that I'm personally working on even myself. Those things hit so much deeper. Like, think about it, because now you guys have the entire fitness page to watch from the very beginning to show you guys that I'm not just talking the talk, I've walked the walk. That's why when people are asking me about business, like, dude, I'll be honest with you guys, I've scaled low ticket products, like just like basically when you sell a program to money that people can't get in the corporate world. Like, and I mean that, like I've done really well with even offering help on people about giving them clarity on their own content. I've done a lot of things that people don't necessarily know about me, but it's because I don't care to explain those things yet. You know what I mean? Like, I want to learn the game so well that I want to tell myself, like, you have afforded and you have earned the luxury to share your perspective on these things. That's all you're doing. It's a perspective that I'm simply sharing, that if you're my type type of person or someone that you look at and you're like, man, I like to resemble his style a little bit. Doesn't mean copy, but we all have that where there's certain people are just inspirational characters. Those are people you pull insights from. He lives in a way and he leads his life in a way that genuinely I resonate with. And those are the people for me that I will take insight from. I'm not taking insight from someone just because they have this thing that I want. No, man, like it's all got to be congruent. You can learn things. It's no problem with that. But in my opinion, you don't try to pretend you're someone that you're not. Content should be a reflection of who you actually are in real life. It's a mirror. It should be no different. If you are far different in real life than you are in your content, there's a problem. Obviously, people would expect me to talk a whole lot. I really don't even talk that much now unless I'm around people that fill up my heart. It's the only time I really care to speak. Like I said, I feel like you guys are in this room with me. I feel like I'm having this coffee talk with the boys. Crazy, but that's how I feel. Phenomenal. Phenomenal. And so the answer to your question, which I've already answered, but just to kind of put a caveat right into that, is if you're making content, the thought in mind, I'll want to monetize, go ahead and do it, but you ain't going to last long in this game. Guaranteed. You won't last long. And the thing is, that's the crazy part about internet money. That's why people do it, is because you can make a lot of money in a very short period of time. You can, absolutely. And then you come back, you know, I've learned so much stuff since then. I just realized, bro, I was just on the wrong path. Same freaking story, copy and paste all the way through. That's why the real winners, the more people that enter the online game, the better it is for me. Because what I've done is learn leverage. I've built leverage. At this time, I'm scaling leverage, and then I'm moving over into owning leverage, which is just a fancy term for saying I've launched my own game with content. I'm now winning at my own game. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to own the game because it's my game. And that's what everybody inside Crusadia, I know this is a channel really for the Crusadia boys. That's what we're here to facilitate for you. You're going to launch, win, and own your own game. And we're all going to be sitting at that table calling the shots on the global scale. But it all starts from you being honest about yourself. You can't touch that in your life without being that guy. That's the problem I have with people making content before they've actually done anything in real life, or without actually having a real skill. Because if you have imposter syndrome, truthfully, and this is just my opinion, you ain't that guy. And the game that I'm playing, keep in mind, I walked you through it. I'm not here to just monetize. I want to play my own game, and I want to win at that game, and that game needs to be a one of one to where other people will eventually copy you. I have so many copycats, and you boys can probably even see it. People trying to resemble that certain style, but you can't resemble it. It's impossible because it's such a distinct flavor that people either love it or they hate it. And notice, I'm not trying to be polarizing. It's not my being like, yeah, bro, I use bad words that people would cancel me from. That's fake. That's fake bravado. You see so much of this shit. People pounding their chest. Oh yeah, dude, like, bro, like, we gotta start this. And it's like the moment anything pops off in the world, you see everyone just starts barking. All of it is complete jargon. It's fake. You should be a polarizing character because you are so yourself that people either love it or hate it naturally. Not because you're trying to put it on for other people. Lay it on thick. No. I have my own verbiage of saying things in a certain way that people do find repulsive, maybe. You know, like I have some takes where genuinely these are my takes. Like, for example, like therapy has destroyed our entire generation with 100% certainty because you have dudes trying to remove tension, and little do they know that tension is the only way to grow. You can't grow muscles without tension. It's impossible. But people look at that like, I'm not saying that because it's like, oh, look how crazy that. No, it has, because the outliers of society, the problem is you're so volatile and you're trying to remove that volatility. That volatility is actually the way out. The only way out is through. And by trying to remove that, by trying to just play victim and just feel constantly just patch up work. What are you doing, dude? Like, no wonder, like, of course you're gonna feel soulless. Like, you're watered down. You've watered yourself down. You've diluted yourself. But do you understand why I'm able to explain these things? Because first off, I've seen people go through it, and I've had to learn the hard way, because there was a time I had, I'm like, you know, maybe I do need therapy. Because when you're lost, dog, any possible solution is not out there ripped. Like, you rip it. You're like, fuck it. If this is an option on the board to make it happen, I'll make it happen, whatever is required. I never have done it in my life, nor I ever will. I really never even genuinely thought about it, aside from maybe 5 seconds when people would bring it up to me. But that's my point, is you have to form who you are in real life, and by the time you have done a decent enough job at it, and you know when you have, you then preach on that subject, and then those other things start to come up. You start to really understand what it's like to reach those echelons. And it's not like I've reached there, but I'm well on my way, and you boys know that, and we are well on our way. And that's exactly what I'm here to help facilitate. But to answer your question, you should only be making with the thought in mind like this would be a fun diary. Nothing more, nothing less. If you have no real skills, your job is to cultivate. What do I do in the meantime? You cultivate those skills. You learn how to communicate properly. What skills are needed for content? Learning how to communicate, learning how to articulate yourself, knowing how to say things in a way that makes sense to people. That involves you getting clarity and decent understanding on the subject matter you care to explain. That's all it comes down to. Promise. I got you guys. Anyways, I appreciate you guys. I love you guys very much. Crusadia, waitlisted. I told you guys I was closing down the group. Told you guys. It's funny because it's just like how everyone is, oh bro, please, I was actually going to sign up. No, you weren't. Some people are born to wait, man. It's just the truth. Some people are just born to wait and wait until it's too late. And then they just want to complain and then talk about what, you know, woulda, coulda, shoulda. Not the people I care to surround myself with. Anyways, I love you guys. From Uncle Rommy to the Natural Crusaders to my dogs in Crusadia, I love you guys very much, man. I love you guys. Uncle Rommy out. Peace.